They didn't show up to my college graduation. Instead, they were lounging on a beach in Hawaii with my brother. And when the world watched me get honored on stage, I made sure everyone knew exactly who deserved to stand beside me. My name is Arya. I was 23 when it happened, the day that finally shattered the illusion I'd carried for years. Growing up, I was the reliable one, the low-maintenance kid who never made waves. That's how my parents described me to relatives. Arya's so self-sufficient. My older brother, Ethan, was different. He demanded attention. His career struggles, his breakups, his endless needs. Family dinners revolved around him. My mom and dad hung on his every word, offering advice, money, whatever it took to keep him steady. When I shared something, a good grade, a new job, they'd murmur approval, then pivot right back to Ethan's latest drama. Our home seemed picture-perfect. Cozy lights, family photos everywhere, laughter echoing on holidays. But beneath it, there was an unspoken order. Ethan was the sun. I was a distant planet, barely registering on their radar. I earned my way through university with scholarships, endless shifts at a coffee shop, and side gigs editing papers. No handouts from home. Meanwhile, my parents covered Ethan's rent, his car repairs, even his vacations when he was stressed. Once I mentioned needing help with rent during finals. Mom chuckled softly. "You're our strong one, Arya. You've got this." I never asked again. The signs piled up quietly. They skipped my high school honor roll assembly for Ethan's impromptu weekend getaway. When I landed a freelance writing contract in college, Dad said nice job, then asked if I'd proofread Ethan's resume. Milestones of mine faded into the background, drowned out by whatever crisis Ethan faced that week. As graduation neared, I braced myself. Still I called. "Any chance you can make it?" Mom hesitated. "Sweetie, we've already booked a trip with Ethan. He's been going through a rough patch at work. He really needs this break." Dad chimed in. "We'll watch the live stream." No questions about my plans, my feelings, nothing. I ended the call, stared at my neatly pressed gown and felt a shift. The ache was there, familiar as an old bruise, but something sharper cut through, resolve. I was tired of auditioning for a role in their lives. It was time to cast my own. Being invisible teaches you to expect nothing. You swallow the hurt, smile through it, keep going. But that day, folding clothes at my closest friend's house, everything changed. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Harlan, had always treated me like one of their own. Casual dinners, check-ins, genuine interest in my writing. As I helped with laundry, Mrs. Harlan asked about graduation. I told them the truth. Silence hung heavy. Then Mr. Harlan frowned deeply. "That's not okay, kiddo." Mrs. Harlan set aside a shirt, eyes soft. "If you'd like, we'd be honored to come cheer for you." I hadn't expected the invitation to hit so hard. Tears pricked, but I nodded. Yes. That night, I almost texted my parents to warn them, to cushion the blow. But why? I owed no apologies for surrounding myself with people who saw me. Unbeknownst to my family, I'd been building something in secret. Late-night scripting for an indie film project through my internship. Rejections, rewrites, quiet persistence. No one at home knew because no one asked. Weeks before graduation, my supervisor called me in. The script I'd poured myself into had been greenlit, big budget, real momentum. They wanted to announce it publicly at the ceremony. "You okay with that spotlight?" she asked. I thought of the seats my parents wouldn't fill. Absolutely. I listed the Harlans as my guests. No fanfare, no heads up to my blood family. Graduation morning dawned bright and ordinary. I adjusted my tassel in the mirror, feeling steady, almost weightless. The auditorium thrummed with excited families. I spotted the Harlans immediately, beaming, signs in hand. Warmth flooded me. Gratitude, pure and simple. The ceremony flowed smoothly. Names called, diplomas handed, cheers rising. My turn came. I crossed the stage, diploma in hand, applause washing over me like it finally belonged. Then the dean returned. Before we close, a special announcement from an industry collaborator. A producer I knew well took the stage. She praised a graduate's work that had anchored a major upcoming film. Significant funding, career launching potential. She named me. I rose, legs tingling, and joined her under the lights. The folder she handed me felt solid, real. "We'd also like to thank the family who supported her every step," she continued. The audience stirred. She gestured not to empty chairs, but to the Harlans. Please come up. Confusion flickered on their faces, then dawning realization as I smiled encouragingly. They walked the aisle amid murmurs. Mrs. Harlan teared up instantly. Mr. Harlan squeezed her hand. On stage, they received a generous thank you gift, a check and plaque, for their unwavering support. The room erupted. Gasps, standing ovation. Cameras rolled. Miles away, my parents streamed it from their resort, oblivious until that moment. Afterward, hugs, photos, joy. My phone exploded. Dozens of missed calls, frantic texts from Mom, Dad, even Ethan. Accusations, pleas, excuses. I silenced it. We celebrated quietly at a favorite diner. Toasts, laughter, hand squeezes. You deserve this, Mrs. Harlan whispered. The video went viral. Comments poured in, some outraged, most moved. My family scrambled. Public posts from Ethan about always being proud. Relatives relaying pleas for forgiveness. A misunderstanding. I stayed silent. Not vengeance, protection. Boundaries. Calls faded. Life clarified. I dove into my new opportunities, exhaustion now purposeful. The Harlans became my daily touchstone. Guilt? Barely a whisper. I'd confused obligation with love for too long. Real family shows up, stays, chooses you. Now, when asked about mine, I speak of the Harlans, the ones in the front row, crying happy tears, proud without condition. Presence, not DNA, defines them. If you've ever been sidelined by those meant to lift you, remember. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. Closing doors on one-way relationships isn't cruel. It's freedom.